How's it going, everybody? Welcome in to another episode of the Mavs Step Back Podcast. I'm your host, Dalton Trigg. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Drew Johnson. You can find both of us on Twitter at Dalton_Trigg and at Coach Drew33. Today we have a very special guest. He is the number 12 pick in the 2023 NBA Draft, the Dallas Mavericks' new center. The center of the future is what we believe, and it's Dereck Lively. Dereck, how you doing, man? How are you loving this Las Vegas atmosphere and getting your feet wet with the Mavs in summer league?
Man, I'm doing amazing. Since I wasn't able to practice much with the team because of the trade, I've just been able to been taking advantage of this opportunity just to get introduced to the team, introduced to the sets, introduced to the pace, and just trying to adapt as fast as I can.
Well, just to kind of get started here, first of all, I want to let you know my guy Drew here. Even before we even knew the Mavs we didn't even think it was possible they were going to keep their pick earlier in the year. We didn't think that was a possibility. But even in December, he started saying, a guy like Dereck Lively would be exactly what this team needs going forward. And sure enough, the way the rest of the season played out, it became more and more of a possibility. And it ended up happening. And, I was looking at draft boards and everything. For the most part, going into the draft process, a lot of people had you as a late first-round pick. And then at some point, and you can maybe pinpoint when it was, things started ramping up. And it's like, okay, well, he could potentially go top 10. And was there a certain point for you where you were like, okay, yeah, I'm definitely going in that 10 to 12 range?
Well, it really kind of started off whenever I came from Duke and I finished my education at Duke, made sure I finished up all my classes. I realized that only thing I had to do moving forward was just work. So I was in Los Angeles. I was with Clutch and just being able to work with my trainer, Chris Johnson, and to just work out 3 times a day. So we were basically in a little boot camp for almost 3 months before the lottery and before pro day started to open up. And to be honest, pro day is kind of whenever everything kind of shifted. There was always a lot of question marks around if I had like a lot of intangibles, if I could do a lot of things or if I couldn't. And I kind of answered a lot of those questions during the pro day. So after that point, moving forward, it just went into going into each workout and just trying to tear up each workout that I had. I had 6 workouts. I worked out with 6 different teams, and I just tried to be a monster in each workout, no matter if that was just keeping the motor, having a lot of energy, talking a lot, being able to tear the rim off, shoot the ball, just being able to do whatever it takes and just being able to do whatever they ask as well.
Well, I know Drew, he's going to ask you a little bit about, your Duke experience and compared to what you've, already experienced with the Mavs so far. But before we do that, I mean, what were those pre-draft workouts and pre-draft talks like with the Mavs? Like when you went into draft night, did you pretty much know like, hey, this is a really good possibility this happens?
Honestly, it was a question mark. I really didn't know it was it was a hope of mine to come true, but I didn't know it was gonna happen because there was a lot of talks about they're trading the pick, if Kyrie was staying or leaving, and I just really didn't know if it was gonna be something that I could rely on. So going into the draft process, it was just a lot of question marks, and I was just really just going in and just wherever I end up, I'm gonna do whatever it takes at that point. And the closer and closer it went, it started to realize that I could actually be drafted to the Dallas Mavericks. And whenever they picked Case and Wallace and I heard talks of the trade, I heard my name come up again and again and again. So I knew that something could be coming about. And whenever my name got called, I was just so grateful and so thankful. And before my name got called, I was told I was being traded. So it was kind of just like, wow, I'm ended up at the destination that needs me. And I'm excited.
Found out in the moment.
Yeah, it was right in the moment. So I was just shocked.
You can go ahead, Drew.
That's really cool. So, kind of circling back around to what Dalton said about Duke, coming from an elite program like Duke, you've seen the absolute best that college basketball has to offer as far as player development is concerned. Has the workload differed any at all between what you were doing at Duke and what you're doing right now with the Dallas Mavericks?
It really just comes down to just working, being able to just put your head down and work, no matter if that's twice a day, 3 times a day, 2 workouts in a lift, 1 workout in a lift. It's just come down to the details of those things. Being able to know that whenever you are practicing, whenever you're putting in the work, you have to do 100% on each rep so that you can get better and so you can get that 1% better each day. So it just takes that responsibility and that discipline to take advantage of every time you step in the gym. You got to be better. You got to be better than when you were when you first stepped in the gym.
One thing I wanted to talk to you about, Dereck, is, in the NBA, sometimes it can take bigs a little bit longer to fully develop than, guards and wings. And, from what I've watched, from what we've watched, you obviously have elite defensive instincts. That's something that, coaches and they can hound on it, but that's, at the end of the day, that's something that you can't teach. And you obviously have that. But you're 19 years old. You still have a lot of room for growth going forward. Where do you see yourself in your current development path? And do you feel like you could step in and be a starter for the Mavs day one? Where are you feeling you're at right now in your path right now?
It's really just whatever I'm given, I'm going to take advantage of. It's not something that I'm going to say I definitely have this spot, because I definitely haven't earned that spot. I haven't played an actual NBA game. I haven't played against the whole team. I haven't practiced against the big bodies on our team. So there's still a lot of things for me to be able to do so I can get to that point. That's something that's circled on my board to be a starter for the Mavs. That's something that I'm definitely not at right now. I'm scraping away, getting closer and closer each day, but I'm not there now. So that just means I got to keep working it so I can get to it and get better.
And I feel like that attitude, that's something that came across the Mavs during the pre-draft process. I think that's one thing where it's like, okay, this guy, he is working extremely hard and he's willing to work hard within his role too. Because, we've seen that throughout Summer League too. You're out there doing the dirty work. You're getting things done on defense, and then you're taking advantage on offense when the opportunity opens up for you. So I think that is, a big thing that the Mavs like, and I think it's going to serve you well in this first season and going throughout the rest of your career. So, Drew, what's your next one you had for him?
So building off what Dalton said about the pre-draft process, specifically the interviews, you've commented on, where you think you would fit in the grand scheme of things as far as, this team is concerned. And we've gotten a small taste of it in Summer League, just in the few games that we've watched you play. But I want to get your perspective, after playing a few games with some of your future teammates, what are your thoughts about where you potentially fit in within this team's dynamic?
I think I fit in very well. Being able to my focus is getting the ball handlers and our scorers open. And, doing that is going to make my job easier, being able to offensive rebound, to score. And I'm also trying to set picks as best as I can to get the ball handlers open. I'm practicing being able to build chemistry with me and Jay Hardy. And that's going to just be able to have to start that over with Kyrie and Luka. So just being able to go into each practice and just try to understand their tempo, understand what their moves are, how they move, like what's their pace, being able to know when they're going to snake, when they're not going to snake. It's just a lot of just being able to just get reps under your belt to be able to just build and be able to know what your teammate is going to do before they do it. And, I'm excited for it. I think I'm going to be able to fit this mold on this team very well. I'm going to do the dirty work on both ends of the floor, and I'm backing everybody up every step of the way. If that's somebody getting blown by, I'm covering their man. I'm telling somebody to get mine. If somebody doesn't know what play is going on, I'm directing the play. I'm making sure they know what's going on. And I'm just always making sure that no matter whoever falls, I'm making sure I'm picking them back up, making sure that they know I got their back every step of the way.
You said before that, during the draft, you didn't know exactly what was going to happen. It was a question mark for the Mavs because they didn't know what was going to happen with Kyrie. Obviously, Kyrie has recommitted to the Mavs 3 years. Nice payday for him. He's back. Luka's back. There's some unfinished business because the end of last season, Luka and Kyrie's numbers together, the offense was incredible. The only, it's just the depth wasn't there and the defense wasn't there. Well, the Mavs have obviously increased the depth. The defensive awareness, the instincts seem to be improved now with the addition of you and your guy Omax Prosper, who has been, from my, just me looking at it, he looks like he could contribute from day one as well. So, where do you see the expectations for this team next season, not just for you individually, but, for the team overall and how you guys are going to fit in with Luka and Kyrie?
Just being able to set the expectation of having a better record and just getting farther than you did last year. We're just going to do whatever it takes to, no matter what game's in front of us, to circle that game and focus on that game and get through it to get to the next one. We're not sitting here and we're looking at the last game because we still have the first, the second, and the third to get to. I'm just focused on making sure that we're able to gel well, we're able to have chemistry, and just be able to be the most coachable player on the floor. There's a lot of things that basketball on the court and off the court depends on us being teammates. So I know that since we're young, we have some new faces, I just want to be able to gel well, have good chemistry so we can play well together.
So circling back around to the pre-draft process, a lot of people made comparisons between you and Tyson Chandler early on. Now you are a Dallas Maverick and you work with Tyson daily. What's it like being mentored by someone that you've been directly compared to?
Man, it's honestly amazing. I've never actually been coached by a big. I've never been coached by someone who's 7 foot, somebody who's been in this game, who knows the details, the tricks, the nitty-gritty things. So just being able to just be in games, be in practices, and just having somebody to ask questions, ask about timing, ask about footwork, ask about when to do something and when not to, is such a great asset to have. Being able to have him in my corner right now I'm just so grateful, and I'm just going to take advantage of it daily.
Yeah, it's a dream come true, I would say.
Mm-hmm. I think it could be a better position.
Well, D-Live, look, we appreciate you taking some time to talk with us. It was great to finally get to meet you and get this thing going. Hopefully we can have you on, down the road as well. But we appreciate you coming on, and we wish you nothing but the best in your rookie season with the Mavs. We appreciate it, man.
Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. We'll see you. You have a good one.
You as well.